Hey guys, welcome back to D&D with Filthy and Friends. Quick recap of the last episode. We survived the harrowing passage down the river with Tim at the helm. We managed to avoid wiping out their entire city and all populace through crashing the boat through it. And have instead managed to more safely come aboard, and we've learned terrible things about other places that aren't here. And meanwhile, while this is happening, while we're hearing about an entire town being destroyed by mad cultists out of the mountains, the cultists who we have followed to their lair and been attacked by their minions, a random innkeeper we've met once has asked us to babysit his inn for a period of a few weeks as he travels to distant places to find out about why his ale and food is not coming as rapidly as it was before. We're contemplating this and I guess getting a sense of what's going on in this area. Maybe we pick up there, Adam?
Yeah.
And I can't figure out, how does him going to Waterdeep help with a shipment that's not coming from the north?
He's not.
So he's going to get supply from somewhere else, basically. Like, so he gets supply usually
just
from
written it
Yatar.
off. How is he?
Yeah, he's like, he needs stuff. He's like, it's not here. I need to go get more stuff.
I'm gonna just follow up with him a little bit, and I'm gonna say, you know, it's confusing to me a little bit that you'd think of us. I mean, we're appreciative of that fact, but we are on the pursuit of the killers of the Mirabar delegation that seem to be some sort of nefarious cult operating in this area, abducting, harming, and it sounds like now potentially killing folks of this region. I know Meriden's order is well respected, and Thaddeus is definitely a member of Meriden's order, but he is of the Paladin order. He is the fist of Meriden. He is the sword of Meriden, not so much the innkeepers of Meriden. So
Hammer of Moradin, thank you.
Thaddeus, please, one moment. So if you could maybe tell us a little bit more, why did you think of us? It seems very outside of our skill set and strange for you to approach us and ask about that. Is there more to this than just needing some help for the weekend?
And he kind of like leans in a little closer and to sort of speak a little more quietly. He goes, look, I don't trust a lot of people, okay? And you guys are obviously trustworthy adventurers. You went into a dark, horrible, evil place and brought back perfectly innocent children and farmers. There's nothing more trustworthy than that in my book. So you seem like perfectly capable of things. Obviously, you have much more important things to be working on right now. It was more of a passing question. But I need to go and get my supplies. I need someone here to look after the place. This is my home. It's my business. And I was just asking. Don't worry.
Well,
there are things more important than me. I'm very used to that in this day.
Well, I certainly don't mean to offend. I just was worried that there was more to it, that this was perhaps something that had you in peril of some sort. But it sounds like maybe let us sleep on it. But it sounds like this probably might be better for you to find someone else for this.
Sure. Enjoy your rest, my wonderful adventurer. And let me know in the morning.
What my friend is trying to say is that our time is very valuable. So hypothetically, while you were gone, would we have access to your drink and food as part of restitution?
You get that for free already, sir. I can see you're a bit inebriated already, and maybe that slipped your mind. And you will have it as long as I am gone, and as long as this inn is mine.
Great. Good business, good business.
Out of curiosity, Adam, how much would like the four of us staying here for eating and drinking cost for however long it would take him to travel to Waterdeep and back? I imagine about a week.
Yeah. Let's have a look.
I just want to see this value.
Gotta
see expenses. There we go. So you're probably looking at between 2 to 4 gold a day per person.
Wow, expensive inn. Okay.
Well, maybe more like 1 to 2, I guess, for a modest, comfortable room. If you took like the best room, it's going to be 4 gold a day per person.
Why not?
But that would be if you had like individual rooms. That's per room, not per person, I should say. So if you were all in one very wealthy room, it's just 4 gold per day. But if you decided to have 4 wealthy rooms, it's suddenly 16 gold a day.
And what did we pull out of that last dungeon? Like 5,000 gold?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm not like missing a financial angle at this that I wasn't suspecting. Okay. Well.
Yeah, monetarily, it's
You're-
just pointless for you.
Monetarily,
Like-
priority-wise, in terms of our existence, and also, yeah, I'm gonna take this as gratitude, misplaced gratitude. This offer, that's what I'm gonna take this as. So, all right. I mean, I'll tell Tim, and I'll tell Dolphidius, and Thaddeus was there, of course, as we were having this conversation. Do you guys think we should do that for any reason?
I think it sounds sweet.
I thought you had enough of
that's
lying on your
drunken
back,
Dolphidius.
Dolphidius.
I don't know, it's
Dolphidius talking.
They seem nice kids, and I'll have to ask later if all the food and drink will be free. But I think this is a good idea.
I didn't catch the name of this inn. This is the Sea Hag.
Right.
Is the food and drink going to be free?
Is the food and drink going to be free? That's the
Right.
question.
Quit being an imbecile. I'll hand you 10 gold, and we should go save some people.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
What's the matter, Adam?
Just Kevin's character is so good.
All right. All right. Well, if there's not, I mean, as I said, I want it to be there, visible, and approachable for a couple hours. I'm not trying to go super hard on the beer, but just.
There we go. This is where you are.
I can't figure out why we would watch this bar.
Nope.
It really feels like
You all
kind
see
of an interesting option, but it would have been a good option at like earlier in our career.
Well, let's not worry about it. I just asked him follow-up questions. I didn't get any answer that makes me particularly convinced. I mean, instead, what I heard was while we're talking with him and he wants us to watch his inn, we just got, merchants coming in saying the cultists killed an entire town. It feels like there's pressing matters elsewhere. So maybe tomorrow we follow up with the captain of the guard, do our shopping, and see what else suits our fancy, because that air cult is now active doing stuff. And
So I've got a couple questions. One is whether or not we can get like an afternoon of ship training before we get back on board that thing. So at least when like we yell like a ship name, one of us knows what it might be.
I have a similar question. Is there anywhere like a source of knowledge in either of these towns, including any of these 3 towns, the 2 sister cities here in Red Larch, Adam? Is there anything like a library or a like hall of records or anything like that?
Okay. I'm just gonna look into that.
Okay.
I think we asked about maybe Red Larch had enough size to have that. They didn't have much of a community center or anything.
So that's my background, and I want to attempt to do a little bit of research on these symbols. So if there's some place that would fit that type of building, then I'd love to check that out. If there's not, it's okay, but that's what I'd like to do.
No, it's okay. I've not really spent too much time reading about the 2 places in the north, and I think they're actually the largest places, apart from like Neverwinter, obviously, which you could travel to find out basically anything. But that's that's something that you guys could do at any point. Is if you ever needed to, like for example, find some information out or buy a particular item, you could go to Neverwinter. What that's going to cost you in terms of resources is time, which, as you may have started to notice, there are now time-sensitive things happening. For example, like the cults responding to what you're doing. So that's now going to dictate what you guys are going to do.
So they're blaming us for the explosion there? Is that the way that works?
What?
No, but all I'm saying is that this is the first event that's happened where you guys have seen the cult take an action proactively, and that may make you feel like there's some kind of time-sensitive thing happening. Or
Yeah, if they're
I'm
coming out of
not
the hills
saying
killing
directly
people,
now that it
sure.
is, but I was just saying that that's a potential that you could be thinking about. So you could always go to Neverwinter. I might just have to have a quick look up these other 2 cities. So I guess the answer right now is I don't know. I'm sure there will be, though, in those two cities.
What's the
'cause they are
travel
quite
time
big.
to Waterdeep by boat?
If you guys were sailing.
Yeah.
So
Just
we're
south down the
here.
river, right?
What did I say it was? With the sail up full speed.
Yo ho, yo ho.
16 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's what you said.
So that's 100, which is 10 foot essentially. Okay. So you're basically there. 100, 10, 15. So you're probably traveling 200 miles.
That's round trip or down?
Oh wait, I was doing it by the road. So,
I think it's the same-ish.
yeah, it's probably even a little bit longer, but you are traveling faster in the boat than you are on a horse. So yeah, I'd probably say about 100, 200 miles.
Sorry, round trip or one way?
That's one way.
So about 400 miles.
Around 60 miles an hour. You can work that out.
And it's fair to assume that you have all of these other locations on the world map prepared as the DM, right?
Oh yeah, every single one.
Yeah, I'd say that's fairly reasonable.
Especially this island over here. That's
I mean, guys, that's only 25 hours of travel round trip. So we could, if we were like there and back, we could do it in a day.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow. Boats are fast. Although upriver might be harder than downriver, I don't know.
Well, I assume we have a motor.
There's a nice place called Tortured Land way to the east. That sounds nice this time of year.
I'm not saying we go explore Waterdeep, but we could head down, check a library, grab items. I guess I'm not really understanding how we're doing this. Out of character, just for a second, Adam. You kind of had us do our transactions in between sessions. But but am I hearing in your voice now, or hearing what you're saying, that we don't actually have access to these items that we just purchased because we don't have anywhere to purchase them in this area?
So the things like the shields. What did you guys buy? You bought.
We
bring it
bought
up.
plus one
So
stuff,
you
mostly.
got 2 shields, a rapier. So the shields and the rapier, you might be able to get from maybe here, and maybe Red Larch. The potions you'll get from random traders that just have potions. Things like the gloves, the wand, and just finding a location to sell the shield.
Yeah.
You're going to need like a more magically orientated kind of.
So it's an economic
Spend it.
thing. We have to go to Waterdeep.
Or you could go
Or to
Cut out.
Yartar.
You cut out what was the second thing?
Neverwinter or Yartar, maybe. I should probably just look up what this place is. Hang on.
Yartar is actually further away than Waterdeep is. Looking at the world map. That seems crazy.
It shouldn't be.
Like, with the... I feel like the scale is wrong on the world map, maybe.
I was just about to say that, yeah. Because Yartar is like, for you guys.
That was 36 miles. Well, Yartar might be 100 miles away.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, maybe.
twice as far north as we've already come south, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys have never really gone
Yeah,
past
it's quite a
the
distance.
upper edge of those hills.
So from that perspective, it sounds like everyone's gear we could get here except my gear. I would kind of like to get just a little bit more. I don't really want to spend a bunch of time in Waterdeep, so in the sense of I don't really want to force Adam to prepare another area right now, and don't particularly have a lot of desire to go down that way anyways. But it would make, if we can do it in like a day, if we can give it a day's travel to re-equip with some better stuff and spend a little bit of time getting some basic research in about this cult. I'd like to I'd like to get access to a better library and reference these symbols and see if anyone has anything to say about them.
Even 3 days on the road
Well, it's not even.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
I know, but if even if it took us 3 days, 1 down and 2 up or something, it still wouldn't be a horrible loss of time.
Well, I mean, if we look at it that way,
Road trip.
What was the population of Belliard?
Now or before?
Before.
Too soon.
Seems relevant.
It's a small market town.
Comparable to Red Larch, Bargerite,
Red
and
Larch
Wamford.
is large, so I would say Red Larch is larger. Wamford and Bargerite individually are smaller. Combined, maybe the same size.
Okay, so
It's a village or a small market town, I guess. So not many people, I guess. Like it depends on your scale of what you're talking about here.
sure, and how much I value human life, I suppose, matters too.
Yeah, that's in there as well.
Okay. Well, I guess my vote is that.
When you started asking the size of Belliard, what does that have to do with whether or not we go to Waterdeep? I wasn't sure the connection there.
I was wondering if they wiped out all the little towns around here while we were gone. Let's say they wipe out one a day. Like, how much were they actually doing in damage is what I was wondering. So, just trying to get a sense of what my wand would be worth to me.
How many human lives is that wand worth?
Yeah. That's it. Like, I don't know what the silence is about. I
Just weigh that out a little. Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'd probably be able to find information at Yartar. Yartar's quite a large place. It's got a lot of things in it.
Okay, but is Yartar any better for us than Waterdeep? I'm a bit worried about. I don't really like the idea of sailing through the hills where the river narrows and it goes through those hills where there's both a fucking air cult and a fire cult. I don't know if I want to be on a wooden boat floating in water that kills us as we go through that.
Can we find some reason to go to Yartar since it's actually on our campaign map? That just seems like a more reasonable thing to do because of that.
Well, I have an alternative suggestion. Why don't we get the barkeeper here to empower us to make a trade deal, and we will go down there to Waterdeep and set up the trade route, and take our percent profit. And while we're in town, also.
Yeah, that's what I said when he first asked us. It seemed weird that he wanted to go down there while we could, instead of us going down there and have us watch it. I mean, I'm certainly willing to do that while we're going there. I mean,
Yartar is where the goods stopped coming from. So we could go to Yartar, get the library, and find out why the goods aren't coming.
But we have a suspicion that Waterdeep's still there, and I'm not so sure about Yartar.
You think Yartar's not there anymore?
Well, you make a good point. I don't want to get blown up on the way through a narrow ravine while in a boat. Yeah.
I could be talked into Yartar if we could find the reason logically why it was there that wasn't just it's on
It's
our
also
campaign map.
in the area. This is a thing that's happening in this area, whereas...
But it's not. It's further away to Yartar than it is Waterdeep.
Yeah.
But we
It's
know
closer
that
to
the
Belliard.
cults are like
Yeah,
here,
we're going to Belliard
right?
after. That's the idea.
and Belliard is there. This is, if these are local regional cults, and we have some reason to believe they are, since their temples seem to be here, then Yartar would likely be
they're
where
here,
people knew more about them.
right? That's the spire.
That argues for going to Waterdeep.
Spire and there's this thing, yeah.
If there's a local library, then the cultists have emptied it of any reference to them. If there's a local library and they are local, probably they have silenced or emptied anything that would reference them. Going to Waterdeep would be the only way to get that information anyway, potentially.
Okay, we can go to Waterdeep.
Yeah, I hear your thoughts, Steve. It would be nice to find a reason to go to Yartar, but I'm not sure this gives us reasons to do it. All right, do we want to do that in the morning? Do we want to chat with the guard captain first and then see about jumping in the boat and going south?
Yeah, let's sleep here.
Can we
Chat
hire
with the
somebody
guard captain
to
in the morning. and then
tap
go-
down the boat so that we don't have to roll our way all the way down there?
We could
To
just
do what with the boat? Sorry.
put a little bit more effort
See
into
if we
it.
can hire a fisherman or somebody who at least have some boating knowledge
What about one of these refugees?
What, to like sail with you, or
to,
Yeah.
to sail with us. Yes, to sail with us.
you could probably do that. You could also probably do what you wanted if you want to have someone teach the party to be better.
I thought 3 days on the river we could probably get that training.
Sure, yeah, that works as well. If you,
If we
if you
could
want to
hire
hire
someone.
him to like take you downriver and teach you how to use
Train
the
us
boat
as we sail.
that you have
Yeah.
acquired.
That sounds good.
Okay, sure.
Okay, well, let's do that then. So, would you like us? Is there any more that you'd like to do tonight with us, Adam, or can we just go? Bam! It's morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever you guys want to do. If you guys are still doing the rat and the rabbit, you can continue that. Or if you are finished interrogating the NPCs, you can go to sleep or whatever you want to do.
That was conversation. That wasn't interrogation.
You'll notice
we were
interrogation.
Sorry, that was the.
You'll know when it's interrogation.
Yes,
That's right.
He was just holding his hammer menacingly for conversation. It was a conversation piece.
All right. So in the morning, I'll come down and I'll say to Nalisker, I'll say, it turns out our business will bring us to Waterdeep anyways. Perhaps we can meet both of our needs still. We could, if you were willing to allow us to negotiate on your behalf, we could address your issues while we were there, and you could stay and keep your inn safe and in good working order while we're down there, and we would be back probably in about 3 days.
You roll persuasion.
I would love to roll persuasion. Thank you for asking. I'd like to roll it better. Hold on. Just out of curiosity, when I'm trying to persuade someone, is it against insight? Is that how that works?
It's not. So if they're like not hostile, but if they're like if they're like it's like kind of against you, it would be like an opposed roll. But sometimes I just want you to convince someone round to your side, so it's more like a DC check rather than oppose. Like, because an insight is more, I would say, to see if someone's lying or to see if they're like trying to deceive you, which maybe like a deception might be. Sometimes, yeah, I guess you could have an insight versus that. Okay.
I'm wondering if do you want me to help with this conversation?
Oh, I mean, if you want to maybe use some social capital and bank on your or withdraw on your order of the word of a paladin or something like that, that could be helpful.
Well, actually, I have this lovely ability that I never
What?
that I never make use of.
Is this appropriate? Heart of Darkness? I thought we weren't doing an interrogation.
I never make use of my Heart of Darkness.
Just to be clear, we're using Heart of Darkness in order to take care of somebody's errand for them.
Well, they extend me every courtesy.
Did you just get this when you
We are boating down a river too.
With the party?
No, this is
horror.
No, this is what I've had from the very beginning. It's built right into my character description.
Amazing.
And I've never bothered to use it because we've only spent like 7 minutes in town, and that was, yeah.
I'm just trying to understand like how them extending every courtesy and doing their utmost to help us involves like them giving us additional work on terms of like going and negotiating new prices.
Thaddeus has that, what is it, the 1,000-yard stare, and then he just like suddenly focuses on the commoner, doesn't use any sort of basic civility or like normal language, is like, we're going to Waterdeep. You want us to do your business for us. And it's just like...
and they're like, you know what, buddy, your life's so shitty. Absolutely. Negotiate for me.
This is now a Heart of Darkness / Apocalypse Now themed road trip.
It's like a diamond bullet.
Okay, how would you like to use
We
that?
already shot artillery from our boat into the trees. That's the...
Can we get a
start
sous
of the
chef that
narrative.
teaches us how to sail? Is that who we can hire?
I was asking whether or not there was any reason to try to use that.
That's up to you, Kevin.
No, I wasn't asking
you.
You.
Want to scare someone into doing what you want? That's...
I, however, have lots of tricks that I would like to use if you'll tell me just kind of what this is. Does he seem to
Okay,
be
so
mulling
I'm
it
going to stay
over?
out of it. I'm going to let him manage it.
Does he
I
seem
was
to
waiting
be...
until you two had decided what you were doing before.
So is he mulling it over? What does he say when I float this idea to him?
Roll insight.
Sure, that I can do as well.
You can see that he's... Let's try rephrasing this. You would expect that someone would immediately, he would immediately take this on and be like, "Oh yeah, go do this for me. That sounds great. You're going to Waterdeep for me. You're going to get my supplies for me." You know, you kind of expect that's kind of the response that you should be getting, and you can see that he's kind of maybe thinking a bit about it, maybe a bit too much.
Sure.
And for it a bit too long, and he's kind of like, I'm
going to.
That could be helpful. I never considered that. I guess that means I could stay here and watch over the inn. And he
out of character, I think that there's some shitty setup. And go ahead, Mr. Pause. That was an amazing pause. Is he actually? No, he wasn't frozen.
His camera froze.
Like his camera froze. That was amazing.
I was waiting for you to finish so I could go on with this because I have something I want to do.
Go ahead.
All right. I'm going to subtle cast suggestion. So I assume we just slept because this is the morning after. So I'm at full spell resources, right?
Yeah, just in case anyone hasn't, you've all long rested now. And
fucking right, we have. All right. So
spells.
I'm gonna subtle cast suggestion on him, which is a level 2, and since I subtle cast it, I don't have to do any of the verbal or semantics, so he doesn't see this happening. And I'm going to suggest and be like, why don't you tell us what's really going on here? We're all friends here, and we have your best interests in mind, and it seems like you might be out of your depth. What's going on?
Is that a save? What is it?
Yep, it's I'll link you the spell.
Long rest, you get half your hit dice back.
Yeah.
Rounded down, yeah.
Is it? You only get half?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every day?
Yeah.
So if you use more than half, it takes
2 days.
Wow, D&D is such a hard game. If it's hard. So let's see, what is it? You make a wisdom saving throw. Okay. Let's see. Commoners, wisdom. Oh, they just have 10 in everything. Oh. It's an easy roll. What have I got to beat?
15.
Okay. What did you say to him? You tell you what's really going on.
Yep.
Okay. Right, 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess the real reason I wanted you adventurers to look after it is that I think someone's been stealing money from me, and I'm not really sure who it might be. And I thought if I had some keen and, perceptive adventurers guarding my inn, and maybe you'd be able to catch him. And that's not to say that my supply problem is not a major problem. It is a major problem, which is why it needs to be solved. I guess that's why I was more wanting to go to Waterdeep myself, but if you wish to go for me, that's fine, and I can stay here and try and catch the thief myself.
Thief has just been pilfering your supplies? Nothing else strange occurring?
Well, when I say thief, I don't know. I feel like it's got to be more than a one-person job because they've taken at least 300 gold, if not 500. I'm not sure.
Big difference. You must be a wealthy man not to notice these things.
Well, there was one part of my books, and then there was a correction, but it didn't make sense. And only a few people have access to those books. No, it's a bit of a mystery, you see.
Have you talked to the guard captain?
And he just sort of looks around like a little suspiciously to see if anyone heard you say that. I'm not so sure about Chalaska. I don't trust her as far as I can shout at her.
Why?
I don't know. She runs the community, and I water the community, and the community complains to me about lots of different things. Sometimes it's her, and sometimes it's her guards. Maybe she doesn't run them the right way. I'm not one to comment on how someone runs their business. I can only comment on how I run my business. But I've been told that their business is sometimes in other people's business, if you carry my meaning.
There's times I wish I was part of the conversation, and there's times I'm glad I'm not.
Did Thaddeus say that?
No, because I don't think I'm part of this conversation.
Well, you kind of stood alongside him, right?
I thought so. That was my impression too, that you were nearby.
I think you and Kevin.
Oh, okay.
So you would hypothetically be able to say something if you wanted to say something.
Meanwhile, what's Dolphin and Steve doing?
They picked two new animals, and they're discussing those two.
Wait, I'm an elf. I just transfer 4 hours. I've been up practicing
Well, you
tambourine
might have actually gone to
since
sleep.
4 a.m. I've been
What?
practicing tambourine on the second floor of the inn since 4 a.m.
Of course you fucking
You
have.
Gray? You doing?
I've been awake for a little bit. I've been fixing the braids of my hair, which have still been disrupted since my time spent with the hag.
She liked
And the
to
water
run her
cold.
hands through your hair, didn't she?
The claws, yes. So I'm still working on getting the braids worked out there.
The ichor out.
Yeah.
And planning your next assault on Tim. You know, a frog is probably worse than a lizard in a fight.
Don't get me started. It depends on the frog and it depends on the lizard.
It absolutely depends on the lizard. I was just going to say.
Yeah.
While you, Chakolth and Thaddeus are having this conversation, you very faintly hear the sounds of maybe a tambourine? And that's about it. So yeah,
That was
Kevin,
a
you
good
are
advantage.
there present. So if you want to talk or say anything to add alongside this, you're welcome to do that.
Chakolth, I believe we could probably solve both of this man's problems with a little bit of investigation and some time on the ship to get the supply route fixed. I don't see this as one or the other,
No, I agree.
and
it's
I'm not
certainly
willing to
possible.
wait the bar.
Yeah, exactly. So perhaps we, our affairs bring us to Waterdeep. Perhaps we could do this quickly, come back, and then see if we can help you with your thief problem.
Can I leave the owl in a sequestered part of the bar, maybe, like hiding in a corner as watch? while
Up
we
in the
go?
eaves, yeah.
It's a
Up on
pretty
the-
nice-
A security owl.
Yeah, you can just have it
Just
like
turn its head like 30 degrees, just kind of pan slowly.
Yeah.
Backwards.
That's how owls look
You mean-
anyways.
you mean like what while you sail away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I clearly wouldn't be able to report it, but it would.
Sure, yeah, you could have it.
If it was still alive when I got back, I could.
Yeah, magical creatures. Do you think they would need to eat and rest and stuff like that? I don't think
Once
so.
an inn, there's probably
I'll leave a
mice.
little bit of food with it.
So I'm sure it's okay to do that.
Oh, yeah, but that's taking
You'd
it,
probably, your in character probably going to want to run that by the innkeeper and explain what your plan is, so that he doesn't just have a random
Sure.
owl.
I'm
So
not
we're going to go to
quite
Waterdeep.
Done with our
and buy our
innkeeper
stuff.
friend. I have one more question for him, which
Oh.
I want to slide in there, which is.
I'd like to suggest you also look over the books, Chakolth. I believe that your sense of these things may make a difference.
All right, I can certainly do that. Perhaps when we get back, or maybe I can bring them with.
And
me.
I know what books are too.
Do I hear this over the sound of the tambourine, or?
I presume that Tim is now wandering back into the tavern, shouting that.
I just
whilst-
wanted to ask the innkeeper why he didn't give us that information before.
Is that how you ask it?
I'll say, so why not tell us about the thief problem? It seems like if you're being robbed and you want us to look out for that, that would be something we'd be better at if we knew that was a problem.
I always feel like adventurers work best naturally and organically in their environment.
Insight.
If you give them too much information, they try to go out of their way and get involved and do too much investigating. And
How full of shit is he right now?
he's kind of on the line. You believe him, but you feel like
I believe
might
that
be
he thinks
embellishing
adventurers
his-
work best with given no information. I believe that
He's
as an
got it.
explanation.
he believes what he's saying, and you believe.
He's got his own
that he
secrets.
believes it.
Yeah, that's the way I'd read it, at least.
All right.
He's part druid, and he wants us all to live authentically and in balance with nature, and showing our true adventurous self without any sullying input from. Yeah.
Have we met before, Master Dwarf? He doesn't say that.
All right. Well, let's go. Okay. Well, I'll tell him that. Does he want us to do while we're down in Waterdeep? Does he want us to do this negotiation on his behalf?
You know what we didn't discuss is just us asking him what he wants to purchase and us being the middlemen.
I tell you what,
Rather
if you
than-
guys come back to me, maybe you give me an hour, I can prepare you a contract or list of sorts that you might be able to take to Waterdeep, and I must be very, very. I must. It's of utmost importance that this happens. We must have supplies to this inn, otherwise I won't be able to supply the inn or even Womford with things that people need: good food, good beer. So if this doesn't happen,
when he says
I'll
of
be
the
rude.
utmost importance, as soon as he's looking at Thaddeus, I roll my eyes. Let's get that out there. Literally, Belliard's been destroyed yesterday, and it is of the utmost importance that I don't.
to him,
Yeah.
in his life,
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So
That's a great roll, Tim.
let's have a brief chat with this guardswoman you're trying to run down, Thaddeus, while we're in town. It looks like the innkeeper needs an hour anyways.
Yeah, and given the information that she might be extorting people or a bully or something, probably you should have that conversation.
Oh, I'm definitely coming with you. Don't worry.
While you and Thaddeus go chat with the guards, could Dolphidius, would you perhaps accompany me to the local holy place and cleanse me of the curse of this blade?
I could accompany.
I don't know what the local holy place is, Adam. but-
It's in another town.
Well, shit.
Like,
We'll find a nice grove
Out of
or something,
character,
I don't know.
you don't like. I don't know. Is he going to cast remove curse on you? Is that like a spell that he
Yeah.
has? Right. You don't
He has a
need.
remove curse spell.
You don't need a place to do that. Like he could just do that.
I just
You
wanted it to be ceremonial
But-
or something.
Yeah. So
Sword
okay,
and I
so,
have gone through a lot.
So just to be clear, I don't have remove curse as a spell. Is it just something I have overall as a cleric?
No, it's something you
What?
have in your class list that you could have.
you should have it as a spell.
All
that
right,
you-
got it. Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
I think.
Yeah, it's a cleric spell.
Oh, okay, got it. Let me.
So you're
Um,
going to prepare it for today and then unprepare it when you sleep tonight on the boat.
Yeah. 'Cause you get to change your spells every long rest.
Yeah.
And I mean, you
So
could fuck with him too. I mean, if he thinks he needs to be at a holy place, you could just bring him down some alley somewhere, maybe with the rat skull or whatnot, the rat corpse, and convince
yeah,
him.
what I
that's-
was going to say was because there is no local holy place. This is now entirely at your discretion, Gray. What you want your character in character to religiously, ceremoniously do to Tim.
Uh huh.
So,
So,
what was the name of your order again?
oh shoot, let me see. I think I have it written down somewhere.
If you want to share that.
Yeah, they're gonna test you on that from time to time if you're part of that for long.
Yeah. I'll get back to you, but I can get the ceremony for you, at least in terms of the steps for that. So we actually go down to the closest body of water, which is I guess would maybe be closer back down to the shores that we sailed in on. And I say a few quiet words to myself that are inaudible to Tim, and I ask Tim to kneel down next to the water with his cursed weapon.
I knew this was going to be the ceremony.
And I asked him to place his
His lips
the cursed
around the
weapon.
holy.
his
the holy
the cursed
decanter.
weapon and is the kind of in his arm at the same time. Place it deep into the water as I cast a small remove curse spell on the water, and it seems to have a remove curse effect. And I explained to Tim that he also needs to place his own being in the water. So if I ask him to dip his head alongside his weapon in his arm, basically putting his upper half of his body in the water, this kind of remove curse water that I've created, I ask him at that point to remove himself from the water, although I realized that I forgot to tell him ahead of time how long to stay in the water. So it's kind of actually up to Tim to decide how long he needs to stay in the water for, because I realized that I have not told him how long to stay in the water. It was only meant to be a moment,
All
but
right.
I didn't actually specify.
Have your conversation with the guards. You can come back to us.
As your cleric, I must recommend you don't touch yourself with that hand for at least a week.
So as far as I'm concerned, the ceremony is done. He's spent the time, or if there's any rolls I need to do, I can do that.
Sure.
But Tim is also half submerged in water right now with his
You
weapon.
can roll medicine.
Okay.
Medicine. Exciting roll. We don't see those very often.
Excellent. You can determine at the point of which Tim enters the water and lays down that your curse has worked.
Remove curse or curse?
Remove curse. I've
Remove
cursed
curse.
twice.
No, you're removed.
And with that medicine roll, you'll also be able to tell when I'm starting to suffocate and drown.
After about a few minutes, because you didn't tell Tim when to come out of the water.
Yeah, I grab
these bubbles coming up, and he starts maybe gently splattering them.
See, and in my head, I'm noticing that I think to myself, I didn't tell him when to come out of the water, but I also just assume that he'd bring himself out of the water. And this is clearly, obviously not happening. I grab him by the ankle and I drag him out of the water and said, "You have been cleansed."
You cough up water, Steve, and a bit of it, lands on Dolphin, and you feel this tremendous relief in your hand as the pain seems to subside.
Is it tremendous?
It.
Wow. Thanks so much for getting rid of the curse, I guess. Your god seems pretty shit compared to Paladin. Not a great experience. I can't say that I've bathed in several years and I wasn't planning to for another couple. A little bit upset that you forced that on me.
I looked him up and down, noticed that he's roughly 3 shades darker on the lower half of his body.
This is the time for a hold person and throw him the rest of the way into the water.
Well, I am just terribly upset I'm not there for that moment of brilliance. But
Yeah.
We're headed over to the guard captain.
Yeah. Oh, I also cast Prestidigitation on myself, as when he calls my god shit, I glare at him a little bit while simultaneously casting Prestidigitation to dry myself of the water that he's coughed up on me, kind of in a defiant show.
Okay.
What's the god you worship, Gray?
It's the Dolphin God. That's just the name of it.
Yeah. You'll need to tell me the backstory of that god.
Sure.
That may have affected Tim.
Yes,
as he scorns your god, literally as your god is helping him.
Yeah, and I imagine dolphins are going to be related to water in some sense. We're about to sail for 3 days over water.
That will have absolutely no bearing on that at all, right?
Perfect.
Okay, so you guys, as you're doing that ceremony, you head out of the inn in search of Shalaska?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
That's the plan.
I did have a map for this place now. So where is the... There isn't a guard. I guess we can use the outer gate and stuff. Okay. So you guys, you spend a while sort of circling, trying to find where she is, and eventually you find her talking to a couple of guards at the main gate.
I spent that entire time trying to convince Thaddeus that the best way to get her attention would be to steal something and do it really poorly and visibly in the center of town.
I'm not going to fall for your idiocy again.
And happily satisfied, we come up to her. Thaddeus, actually, along the way, can you remind me why we're seeking her out? Because I don't recall. Jog my memory as to why I want to find this woman. Why we want to find this woman.
I believe we wanted to ask about a reward regarding banditry and warn her that at least some of the bandits were under the guise of mercenaries.
Well, let's keep that one close to our chest until we get a sense of her. It sounds
the
like...
truth is important, Chakolth.
Thaddeus, but were you not listening? There are multiple truths at play here. The innkeeper has said that this woman may not be someone to be trusted. What if she is in on it in some way? And we need her. We need to give her enough rope to hang herself if she is, so we can find that out. So first. And
then we can kill her.
Yes, Thaddeus. Then I'll let you loose, and you can kill her and everyone else. Heart of darkness, my friend. And I'll head up and approach her. What is her name again?
I don't know, but I'll Chalaska.
My God.
Fuck.
Well done.
Wow.
Wow, you've been holding that one for a few minutes, haven't you?
Looking for the chance.
You were so keen to find this.
So we'll head up
Slightly.
to Chalaska, and we'll say, I'll approach and say, "Are you the guard captain?"
Well, you can see she's talking to some guards, and she just sort of goes like this, and they wander off. She turns and goes, "Ah, adventurers, welcome back. Yes, of course I am.
She
You've forgotten we've met already."
Yeah, she's the one that actually told everyone to empty the inns and let.
Okay.
She's the one that took such good care of all the.
I roll with it and pretend it's a bit of a jest. I'm like, of course you are, and just like kidding and like little tap on the shoulder style thing.
How fares the adventuring, Sir Chakolth? You, Kevin, Thaddeus?
Oh, sorry, pardon. I'm chewing ice and didn't hear you.
How fares the adventuring? She asked you.
She served me. I'm like, I'm not a fucking paladin.
Oh, the adventuring. It's been. I've killed so many things. Moradin is pleased with my wrath.
Kind of bows as you say, Moradin. That's good to hear. It's always good to see people serving their deities well, and this place being safer as you guys go to work. All the people you rescued seem so much happier and relieved to be here. How may I help?
Well, we've come to you actually about more safety. The bandits that have been plaguing the roads between here and a Red Larch are, if not no more, then severely diminished. We encountered them in our travels and dealt with them on behalf of your town and the safety of the local areas. We wondered
Excellent.
We wondered if there might not be a reward for our troubles for this. And
Of course.
oh, excellent.
Do you have proof of your work?
Well, Tim collects skulls. Is there more that you would like? What would you like in terms of proof?
Although I did see, and she kind of looks out towards the river, I did see your boat earlier, and the flag there seems familiar, so perhaps your words are true. I will take your...
Hold on a minute. She recognizes the mercenary flag as the bandit flag?
No, she just recognizes that flag as the people that you described. Did you not just tell her that they were mercenaries pretending to be bandits?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So she right, so I'll try that again.
Okay.
So what did you ask her? If there's a reward?
Yep.
Yeah,
We just said we have likely decreased the bandit population.
Well, there has been at least definitely 5 days since the last attack, so they were normally more frequent than this. They seem to definitely be either dispersed or moved along. And besides, adventurers, I trust you. You say you have done something, I believe you.
That's really kind of her. I will say, what did you know of this group? Any idea how they managed to operate so successfully for so long? Why they managed to elude captivity? Or death?
Any of my guards, and in fact many people in general, are afraid to enter the Summer Hills, of which we believe all evil, and in fact most of the bandits seem to come from.
I agree.
You agree
So-
what, Thaddeus?
So much evil. So many bandits all issuing from the gaping wound of the Summer Hills.
Indeed, Liege Thaddeus. And unfortunately,
I have
not
no
want to
idea what
venture
we're
into the
doing, but I
hills
like it.
I'm having no part of this.
What are you doing, Steve?
It's derailing.
So yeah, she explains that the guards are, they're not going to go in there. It's too dangerous. They don't really pursue people into those places. So it's great that you guys have gone in there and helped her out.
Okay, as I start to ask this question, I would like to subtle cast Hex on her.
Okay. What's that do?
Gives her disadvantage on ability checks of my choice, and I'm gonna choose charisma. So
Okay.
if she's trying to lie to me, she'll have disadvantage on deception.
Oh, I see. Right.
So let me just mark those off my spell sheet, and then I'm going to just continue on with that conversation. I'm going to try to insight check as she tells me that's why, because the guards don't want to go into the Somber Hills. I want to see if that statement is the totality of the truth for her.
And Tim and I are just walking back right now, right?
Yeah, you guys probably just about finishing the ceremony. If you're coming back to, if you're coming back, you're basically going to be walking back to the barge right in area, and these Chakolth and Thaddeus are speaking to Shalaska basically at the front gate. So you're going to see them before you arrive, if that makes a difference to what you're going to do.
Got it.
So as you're talking to her, yeah, she seems totally genuine. The guards are afraid of going into these hills, and it's definitely a scary place, as you guys know from being in there. It makes sense that these people would be maybe afraid of going into this sort of place. You've also heard a lot of rumors, almost everywhere you've been, that the Somber Hills is dangerous and people don't like going there.
Yeah, no, I'm not doubting I'm not trying to get a sense of whether or not that is true. I'm trying to get a sense of whether or not that is a half-truth in the sense of literally there's more to it.
The only reason.
Yeah.
You feel like there's probably a little bit more to it. That's probably not the only reason, but that's definitely a big one for her.
Anything else about these bands? They were the ones that we encountered, you know, and I'm not sure these are all of them or not. We're a pretty organized, pretty hardy group. They were quite the run for us. Any sense of why they were so strong? They seem more than just regular bandits to me. Do you have any knowledge of their organization, their group?
Honestly, no. It's difficult for us to even pursue any tracks we ever find. They go into these dangerous places, and another reason is that I have limited manpower. We have so many guards. If I send 10, 20 guards into the hills, all of a sudden I have only 10 or 20 guards to guard my inn and my land, and these people's lives are... They're not more important than those on the road, but they're definitely... My priority is to keep this place safe, and if there are bandits out there, we need to be defended within our walls as a first priority. Anything after that has to be second.
Adam, your mic cut out mid-sentence there.
Which bit did you miss?
Just right at the end.
Anything after that
is a secondary priority. So she's kind of eliciting to you that she might be able to take action, but she's not really keen to do that because she wants to protect the place that she's in more.
Yeah, it's a totally reasonable thing for a guard commander of a town to say. Yeah. All right. Well, then my initial take on this is I don't have a lot more avenues to push for this. It seems above board for there. So I'll just ask a couple more questions then.
Mm-hmm.
I'll thank her for appreciate her trust in us, and say that our part of our goal too is to keep the poor people of this area from as much harm as possible. It seems the Somber Hills are particularly deadly now, and I'll bring up the topic of Belliard and ask if she's heard any news of the impetus behind that. Or
oh my god, it was horrific. We've never heard anything like this. Nothing has ever happened in the Desert Valley like this. An explosion of magical power destroying an entire village. This is unheard of. I'm lucky it wasn't this village. That could have been happening to us while we all slept. Can you imagine? This whole hilltop gone?
Yeah, that would be terrible. Have you ever heard of the people responsible for this? And I will duplicate the description we were given from the merchants without suggesting that these are cultists.
There's been many rumors of people matching descriptions of what you say coming from the hills. In fact, even similar descriptions, but with different, symbolism that you mentioned. Perhaps you might know more about it. And she sort of draws a couple of symbols on a piece of parchment, which she recognizes, an earth cult symbol and a fire cult symbol. But again, I have limited power. I have limited manpower. There's very little I can do apart from usher people like yourself to keep going and keep helping us.
No, I understand that your resources are limited. I was more interested in if you had any knowledge of this, while we are out dealing with these people like this, you're sitting in a trade hub for the area, a small regional trade hub, but a trade hub nonetheless, and perhaps information might come to your ears that could be useful to us.
The Caravanneers that saw what happened to Belliard who spoke with the survivors, they say that it seemed very random, and there's been perhaps a bit of hearsay that these people are after you and your party.
Any idea why?
Well, you've been to Belliard?
Only very briefly.
And we know that from what you described to me when you first arrived, you found out you found out information about your delegation in Belliard, so that was an important event within the valley itself, with the delegation going missing. We hoped to see them, and we didn't even see them. So perhaps these people are targeting you after they targeted the delegation. Perhaps the places you visit are now more dangerous than they've been before.
Well,
I'd like to suggest that if anyone with those symbols arrives at your gates, you capture them. Don't let them leave, and don't let them in.
Capture them? Strange that you would say that, Sir Paladin. I think I would rather kill them.
Yes, but then we can't learn more from them before we crush them.
She kind of tilts her head side to side and sort of shrugs her shoulders. You do make a valid point, sir.
well,
It's a tough decision. Circumstances applied. Perhaps if we could capture someone, maybe we would learn more and we could tell you, but all I want is my place to be safe.
Well, if you let them leave, they could destroy it from nearby. That was quite the blast.
Indeed.
well, it's good to have allies. Please, if any information comes your way, please find a way to get it to us, and we will do our best to protect your town from these cultists as much as we can. And just be on the lookout. This is extremely disquieting that what's happened to Belliard, and I worry that these towns being so close to the Somber Hills might also be in danger.
Everywhere is dangerous now, perhaps. If they are striking out
Yeah.
close to where they are.
Yep, Red Larch
Perhaps.
and your two towns here would be things I'd be very concerned about. Have you no one to call upon, no infrastructure to call upon in times of need, no larger lords or cities that owe you protection for your...
We know that the remnants of the survivors of Belliard has sent messengers to Neverwinter. We have sent the caravan and the traders with messages to Waterdeep, but these are far, far away places. Help will not come soon.
Yeah, it's a
And
day and a
as you're
half by
talking,
boat.
you can see sort of Tim and Dolphin coming up the road. You see Dolphin pointing up at the sun and pointing at the mountains, and they seem to be in some sort of conversation.
Oh,
Hello?
yeah, I'm still here. Everyone else still here?
Yep.
Yeah, that was
There was-
Skype.
Was that
That was
Skype? Not us?
definitely Skype.
Are we all
Yep.
okay? Good. Right.
It
Okay.
was,
Well, that actually might be a good spot to cut the part on.
Sure.
Okay. So, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you soon.